Councillors, it is now 5:30, so I'd like to declare the meeting open and welcome elected members, staff, members of the public and those tuning in online. I'll declare this meeting open, and in doing so I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land, the Wadandi Noongar people, and pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. A couple of announcements from myself. On Friday night, IPWEA, the Institute of Public Works Engineering Australia, had their awards ceremony, and City of Bunbury was awarded the Best Public Works Project for Coolanbiddy Woola. So congratulations to the team again, and elected members, and one of the City of Bunbury. Also at that awards ceremony, Colleen Smythe, I should say, one of our employees, was recognised as a finalist in the Emerging Leader category. So well done to her. We do have an apology from Councillor Yip, and the others are here. And obviously for those who've noticed, Councillor Andrew and Councillor Kozsek have just changed seats at the moment. Councillor Andrew stays a little bit away from us. Are there any declarations of interest for tonight? I haven't received any as yet. None for tonight. Thank you. There was no public questions received. Confirmations from the previous minutes. Could I have somebody move those minutes? Thank you. Councillor Quain, thank you. Seconder, Councillor Giles, thank you. I'll put that. Those in favour? That's carried. Thank you very much. And confirmation of the minutes from those two committees. Somebody happy to move that? Thank you, Councillor Kozsek. Seconder, Councillor Quain, thank you. All those in favour, please indicate. That's carried unanimously. Thank you very much. I believe we do have a petition. Councillor McCreary. Yep, just mic on. Thanks, Councillor McCreary.
We received a petition from our community to be accepted tonight. I, Stephen Foster of 15A Hay Crescent, Bunbury in the state of Western Australia, am the promoter of this petition, which contains 924 signatures. Petition in relation to funding of school chaplaincy in Bunbury to the Mayor of the Council of the City of Bunbury. We, the undersigned, being electors of the City of Bunbury, support continuation of Council's allocation of funds to assist chaplaincy at Bunbury Senior High School and Newton Moore Senior High School. Your petitioners therefore respectfully request the Council of the City of Bunbury to continue funding school chaplaincy in its future budgets.
Thank you, Councillor. Are you happy to move that we accept that petition?
I'm happy to move.
Is there a seconder? Yes. Councillor Steck. Thank you. Likely to be any debate on this, councillors? No, I don't believe so. I'll put that we receive the petition. Those in favour, please indicate. Those against? One against. Petition has been received. Thank you, Councillor McCreary. No presentations and no deputations to go through this evening. Dealing with tonight's agenda, councillors, coming out for discussion is item 10.1.2, the review of council policy, temporary appointment of the CEO. That requires an absolute majority. 10.2.1, the CEO recruitment, as that requires some nominations. 10.3.5, the 2023 City of Bunbury election, as that requires an absolute majority. Those are the ones coming out for discussion. Are there any others? 10.3.1, thank you. Yes. Any others coming out for discussion? Thank you. If that's the case, somebody happy to move that we move the remainder en bloc? Councillor McCleary, thank you. Councillor Quain, the seconder. All those in favour, please indicate. Thank you. That's carried unanimously. Thank you. So, councillors, we're going to item 10.1.2, which is the policy on this. This does require an absolute majority. I'll have somebody move this policy. Thank you. Councillor Giles, seconder. Councillor Quain, thank you. Is there likely to be any debate on this one, councillors? No, thank you. I'll put it. Those in favour? Those against? One against. Thank you. That's carried. Thank you. 10.2.1, CEO recruitment. So, councillors, we do need to appoint two councillors on this group.
I have a question first.
Yes, Councillor Still.
I made a comment last week about having these meetings maybe after hours, so councillors that actually work have a chance of nominating for these. It seems to have ignored that question, because I noticed that they're both on a Thursday and Friday when a majority of us work, and I noticed that they also are during working hours. I would like an explanation as to why some of our committees, we don't have the option to have them after hours, even if it's 4 o'clock or something. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Steele. We'll leave the wider conversation on committees separately, but in terms of maybe the meeting dates for this particular group, for the two dates that have been suggested, if I could just, through the CEO, get an explanation of why those two dates were set.
Through the Chair, those two dates were set prior, and the main reason for that is Fridays is basically the last day before Council and Executive are going to Albany, where we can actually explain the process so that elected members that are on the PCG can proceed with reviewing all those 16 entries that were received. And the Thursday was because that is, according to the deadline, the last day that we can actually have the meeting to have everything submitted on time. If 4 o'clock is a preferred time, we can aim to have both those dates 4 o'clock.
I think just to follow on, those were two dates which were set as placeholders, and they can be adjusted. They're not set in stone, Councillor Steele. It was just setting a date based on that information provided there. Okay, so could I have some indication on elected members who would like to nominate for the CEO Recruitment Project Control Group? Councillor Turner, Councillor Andrew, Councillor Gassip.
So long as the times are changed. I can't make current times.
Okay.
So the time is being changed? I'm not quite sure what's happening.
The email that went out today was the placeholder time for these dates, bearing in mind that we need to meet in the next, the closing date for the RFQ is today. So I'm just sending this as guidance.
Sorry, Strawn, do you have the closing date for the...
Yeah, the closing date's today. So we need to get everything together so that on Friday we can meet. If Friday 4 o'clock is an okay time, we would be happy to change it to 4 o'clock. But we would need to have that meeting prior to the weekend. And then on Thursday, we would need to get together 4 o'clock, if that's a preferred time, so we can actually review and hear what the preferred option is for everyone.
Sure. So in answer to that, Councillor Smith, placeholders were set. They can be adjusted, being mindful that there needs to be this week and next week around those times. Councillor Steck.
Mr Mayor, they're two separate committees, aren't they? One is a control project group and the other one's a CEO recruitment.
CEO recruitment panel will be dealt with later on, yes. To clarify that, thanks for clarifying that, Councillor Steck. So based on that, again, councillors who are interested in joining the recruitment project control group, show of hands. Okay, so Councillor Andrew, yep, Turner, Gassip, Steele. Any others?
Councillor Andrew.
Yeah, I got Andrew. 4. All right, I'll just ask if the CEO can provide a... Are you happy to do that, CEO? We'll do a vote. That's right.
Excuse me, Mr Mayor.
Yep.
Considering there's only 4 councillors, can't all 4 councillors be on that committee?
So that was discussed last week. Before you get there, CEO, maybe just wait 1 second. So we did say that the suggestion has been for 2 elected members. If someone wants to move an amendment that point 4 is appoints councillor, well, effectively there would be an amendment that it just changes the project control group to 4 elected members, but if somebody wants to do that, you can do
I'll
it.
do
Yeah.
that, sir.
Is there a seconder? Councillor McCreary? Well, just to clarify here, councillors, that now, there's now been an amendment that we move this to 4 councillors to the project control group. That's been seconded by Councillor McCleary. If that's the case, obviously we can look at nominate. Councillors, let's just do one thing at a time here, please. So there's been a amendment to change basically in the report that we have to have 4 elected members on the project control group. That will mean that 2 staff members will go off, as far as I'm aware, but that's fine. So there's been a mover for that and a seconder for that. No, we'll deal with changing the yeah. So what we need to do, Minute Taker, is that effectively we're changing the recommendation for point 2 that they endorse the project plan for CEO recruitment with the changes to 4 elected members on the project control group, and just asking through governance if that's correct, if that's fine. Through CEO, is that fine? And probably through governance, just to confirm.
I think through you, Mr. Mayor, we may just need to make some changes to the attachment as well, but we can do that.
That's why.
In accordance with the council resolution.
That's what I think this item is trying to pick up there. I'm getting a nod there. So that's your intent there, Councillor Steck and Councillor McCreary. So effectively, we're just going to have a vote on that on point 2, and if we can, then we can deal with the appointing of the councillors from there. Is there likely to be any debate on that point, councillors? Those in favour of that change, please indicate. I've called for a. Yeah, that. Oh, yeah, but we're just dealing with this amendment to get that bit right. Sorry, Councillor Steele. See ya. So a mover of the entire. I see what you mean. All right, yeah, you asked the question too soon. Councillor Steele, are you happy to just move the motion to get it on the table, the initial motion? And can I have a seconder to the initial motion? Thank you, Councillor Quain. So the items on the table, thanks, Councillor Steele. So that was moved by Councillor Steele and seconded by Councillor Quain. So what we're now moving is an amendment to the motion for point 2, as been indicated there, which was moved by Councillor Steck and seconded by Councillor McCleary. All those in favour of that change, please indicate. Those against? That's carried. Okay, so that's cool. So we can now, that's now the motion, the part of it, so you can include that in their minute taker, and we can put in there to appoint the councillors. And then obviously we can have 4 here, and now Councillor Smith, you indicated you would like to be included. Sure. No, sure. No problems. Is there any other? Oh, okay. No problems. Is there any other elected members who would like to be included in this? Okay. So that's fine. We don't need to worry about a vote. We've got it. So this now becomes the executive recommendation as it stands, and that was moved by Councillor Steele, second by Councillor Quain. Is there likely to be any further debate on this, councillors? Thank you. We'll put the executive recommendation. Those in favour? That's carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Thanks, councillors. Sorry about that confusion, but we got there. Okay, 10.3.1. We have an executive recommendation in front of us. This time we might just see if somebody's happy to get this on the table before there's any further discussion. So the executive recommendation is there. Somebody happy to move that recommendation? Thank you. Is there a seconder? Councillor Smith. Thank you. Yep. It should be on my screen. That's on the screen now. I'm guessing there will likely to be some debate on this one. Councillor McCleary.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Over several weeks, most councillors attended 5 budget and finance workshops. I wish to congratulate and thank the CEO, executives and staff for the preparation, the dedication to detail given, and for attending every workshop to ensure councillors understood all that is in the budget and the consequences of rate yield for 2023-24. Councillors in attendance at these workshops asked many questions, put forward possible initiatives and options that were given serious consideration. Together with the executive, we worked through each and every query and idea with detailed explanations and descriptions discussed and probable solutions informally being agreed upon by councillors in attendance. It was unfortunate the few councillors who were unable to attend any of these important workshops missed out on the opportunity to have their ideas, concerns and solutions addressed fully in this important, informal and informative forum. We delved into every aspect of the city's future major projects to be included in the long-term financial plan. For example, cost pressures and resources required to continue to provide the services and facilities expected by the community, including maintaining the city's existing assets and infrastructure and the possibility of new projects, large and small, into the future. We addressed and compared past year's rates yield in detail and the consequence of continued lower rate yield in the future. Decision on an increase in property rate yield is a very serious business, and this year I'm proud of the work and effort each councillor who attended these workshops gave. It was the most detailed, comprehensive budget workshop I have attended in all my years as an elected member. Once again, big thanks to the executive and staff. In all things we do, we are getting better and better. This brings me to the recommendation on the table tonight. Option 1. Bunbury is beautiful, vibrant, and our community is very excited and optimistic for the city's future. We have glorious public facilities, Mangrove Cove being the latest. Just take a minute for a mental trip around Kumbana Bay, Hay Park. Think of the events happening every weekend. Tourists are arriving and loving what we have to offer. This weekend, join the crowd at Bunbury Geograph Motor Museum's Bumper and Beats event. He thought I'd give a punt. It comes with a cost though, the upkeep and the continued expectations of our community for more, and rightly so. We want tourists to put roots down, and that will expand our rate base. Yes, please. Remember, we're a self-funded regional city. I acknowledge the huge capital works the South West Development have done and the state and federal money that has been invested on our waterfront and other areas. However, we become responsible for the maintenance and the upgrade. Ownership is handed over to the city. We own the infrastructure and the facilities, so the pressure is on. There is no magic money tree out the back. It is us, along with our residents and business communities, building and maintaining this glorious city. The city will not thrive without a responsible long-term financial plan. We can adjust the figures along the way, but be warned, cut it too fine too soon, Bunbury will cease to progress and blossom. I give no apology for supporting this responsible recommendation, and I hope, councillors, you will reflect on what you have learned in the workshops and agree. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cleary. Second was Councillor Smith.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I can't really add a lot more to that, other than to say thank you for the workshops that we had. They were good, and this item will provide guidance to staff in preparing the draft budget for 2023-24 and the long-term financial plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Speaker against, Councillor Stepp.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I won't be supporting this, and for many reasons. The bottom line is 5.5% is even too high, but I'm prepared to go with that because of inflation, but because it's the worst of all evils, the best of all evils, sorry, in relation to the figures here. Regardless of how many workshops and how much detail we've all been consuming, No decisions have been made because you can't make a formal decision unless you're in this chamber. That's the only way you can make a decision that it actually counts. So after that, I would say 10 consecutive rate rises from the banks to everyone who has a mortgage, but that feeds out to everyone who has a rental. Everyone who is doing it tough. For example, the whole community is less than 1% capable of showing housing for cheap rent. And we don't even have long-term caravan park bays because they are now tourist bays. You can only stay there for 11 months, then you have to drive out, then you have to reapply, it takes a month to reapply, then you have to go back for another 11 months. There's no state housing. There's a housing shortage. Housing rents are so high. And here we are, zooming along with key projects that we can't even afford ourselves. For goodness sake, put those projects back. Now is not the time to proceed. It is seriously not. Unless you want to debt-ridden the future council, go for it. But I won't, and I flat out refuse to accept this 7%.
Thank you, Councillor Steck. Is there a speaker for the executive recommendation? Councillor Giles.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I stood here last year at the same time or similar time and argued for a higher rate rise than we put forward last year, and I'm here today saying I told you so, which is what I said last year. For several years, and we've had the figures presented to us frequently, we had a zero rate rise during COVID and very small rate rises either side of the COVID years, and that really has put us behind the 8 ball. And I do believe that we need to be in front of the 8 ball if we're going to keep the progress going. The costs of all our projects have increased threefold, some of them, and we just can't function on a lower rate rise than this, I believe, and still keep making progress. So I'm going to support the 7%, and I urge others to do the same. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Giles. Is there a speaker against? Councillor Turner.
Yeah, I want to thank the staff for the workshops that we did attend. They were very informative and a lot of work went into them. I understand that if we don't raise rates, then it may get away from us in time, but I will not request that the CEO prepare a long-term financial plan 2023-24 to 2034-35 based on rate percentage increases stated in recommendation number 2. I don't believe these high interest rates stated in recommendation 2 are necessarily the answer. Easiest solution long term? Yes. Sustainable long term? No. Economists are currently stating that inflation has nearly peaked. The next few months are still going to be tough for homeowners with more interest rates expected, but beyond that it's looking more positive. I'm going to double down on what I stated last year, that we need to complete our current projects and hold off on starting any new projects for a while. Let's take a breath, celebrate and enjoy what we have achieved over the last few years. This is not a time to be spending money on big new projects. It's time to tighten our budget, just like residents, businesses, state and federal governments are having to do now. Meanwhile, we need to be looking at cost savings across all areas of the City of Bunbury. We need to look at reducing the scope and therefore cost of any near future projects. We need to investigate and push for more grant funding. Some hard and tough decisions need to be made going forward. Constant high rate increases are not the answer or sustainable long term. I will not be supporting recommendation 1 or 2, but I will support recommendation number 3, that the CEO prepare an optimisation plan that focuses on the way the cities can reduce operating costs, maximise revenue resources and increase cost recovery.
Thank you, Councillor Turner. Is there a speaker for the recommendation? No? Councillor McCreary.
Thank you, Mr Mayor, and I hope I don't fall into the depths of creating something new as I go along, but I seem to have a habit of doing that. But I'd just like to take up on, this is a long-term financial plan that we're talking about, and it's really important for us to aspire to things. Councillor Turner said that we should be holding off. We're consolidating. But once again, we need to aspire to what our generations, future generations, and Councillor Giles was quite right in saying that the costs are up. We have to pay for our electricity bills as well as anybody else in the residential area. We have to pay for the extra cost of steel to do whatever we use steel for, etc. Even just our wages are going to go up. I don't think that holding back Bunbury is going to suffice in this way. We will just wilt and die, and I would not like to see
Point
that.
of order, sir, that is really over the line. I'd ask that the council withdraw those dead or last couple of comments.
Councillor Cleary, you've finished your debate.
I withdraw,
Thank
but
you.
I do believe that we will not progress. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cleary. The executive recommendation in front of us. I'll put the recommendation. Those in favour, please indicate. Councillor Turner, I've called the vote now, so I'll just have to call that. Those in favour, please indicate. Those against? That's carried. 6 in its entirety. That's carried. Thank you. Yes, names. So names of those against, please. Councillor Gassett, Councillor Turner, Councillor Quain, Councillor Steck and myself. That's carried, and apologies, Councillor Turner, I should have picked up on that point. No, that's fine. We'll carry on. 1035, councillors, this requires an absolute majority. Could I have somebody move that? Thank you, Councillor Andrews. Seconder, Councillor McCreary. Likely to be any debate on this one, councillors? Thank you. I'll put that. Those in favour? That's carried unanimously. Thank you very much. I believe that brings... Oh, no, not quite. We have a application for leave from Councillor Quain. Could I have somebody move that? Councillor Andrew, thank you. Councillor Giles. All those in favour, please indicate. Thank you. Thank you very much. Enjoy your break, Councillor Quain. And we're done. Thank you very much, elected members and those who have joined us today. Declare this meeting closed at 5:57. Thank you.